are you? That was his last week. Yeah.
Hey now. What?
The one meeting on my bag across the way.
You're gonna need your charger. Okay.
Is that yours?
No, that's mine.
Oh,
It was a department that I wouldn't react. Yeah. Mine hurt my shoulder. Oh, Evan. Liz has offered to give all commissioners spokesman training for levy if you want. So if you want, let me know and I'll flip you guys in touch.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just a Zoom or
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, she's
cardboard wall.
very big into Zoom.
She's in Montana, right?
Well, she has a house here, a house in Montana, and a house in Arizona or California or somewhere more.
I think Arizona.
Arizona.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, are we recording?
Nope.
All right.
You ready?
I go. I'm still trying to log on anyways. Okay. All right. Welcome to Snohomish County Fire District 4's regular board meeting, Tuesday, March 14th. We're going to go ahead and call this. Yeah. No, I'm going to. I'm going to get to it. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order at 19:02. All right. Adopt and adjust the agenda. Do we have any adjustments to the agenda?
We move the VFW awards to right before
Yep.
business.
Yep. We will move it up to a new business. All right, well, that will be the only adjustment to the agenda. We'll adopt the adjusted agenda as presented. All in favor? Aye. All right, approve minutes from previous meeting. Do we have any questions, concerns, comments about the previous meeting minutes?
Not anymore.
Awesome.
I
Do we have a motion?
would move that we approve the February 16th, 2023 regular meeting and the March 2nd, 2023 special meeting minutes.
Right, all in favor of that motion? Aye. All right, open public comments. All right.
We did receive.
Oh, yeah. We did receive a letter, but we probably should have that. We received a letter from Brian Mills.
I think I'll read the letter and the response.
You want to read it?
Yeah, I think that was an intention. If we have, double figure.
Absolutely. Yeah, sure.
Right. Okay. From Brian Mills, Sunday, March 12th, 2023. Commissioners, my name is Brian Mills. I'm a resident of the Fire District and a former member of Snohomish County Fire District 4. I had hoped to attend your meeting on March 14th, but I most likely will be unable to get there. Are you ready? Okay. Okay.
I do.
Okay. I'm requesting that this email be entered into the minutes as public comment. Chief Waller, as secretary for the district, please let me know if I need to submit it in some other way. It is my understanding that the district is looking at options for providing service that would include the possibility of partnering in some way with another fire agency. It is also my understanding that via a unanimous vote at your December meeting, you decided to limit that investigation to a single agency. As a taxpaying resident of the fire district, I am interested in making sure that my tax dollars are used wisely and that fire and EMS service for me and my community is provided in the best way possible. So from that standpoint, I commend you in being proactive about how to ensure the highest level of service to Snohomish. However, as a former member of the Emergency Services Consulting Group, ESCI, from Wilsonville, Oregon, and having facilitated numerous merger and consolidation discussions in Oregon, Washington, and Idaho, I will bluntly say that your decision to concentrate on only one option is unwise and frankly irresponsible. Your recently adopted strategic plan states that you will approach potential merger opportunities objectively. Looking at only one agency with which to work is not being objective. On the contrary, it is quite subjective, especially given the reason for this exclusivity. Mutual aid activity is but one of several different elements that must be evaluated when considering any kind of consolidation or merger. There are other very significant areas that have to be taken into account: the employees, the level of service, the money, the law, the cultures, the politics, and more. You recently were in talks with the City of Everett about a similar arrangement. I must admit, I would not see that one working, except as a great advantage to the City of Everett General Fund. But it was prudent to have the conversation. It would also be prudent to talk with all of the other departments and districts that border Snohomish County Fire District 4, Surfer, 16, South County, and perhaps even those that don't, 5, Marysville, to see if any kind of joint operation might make sense. As commissioners, you have a great responsibility to your community and to your employees to ensure that Snohomish County Fire District 4 is managed in the best way possible. I urge you to take into consideration what I have presented. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, Brian Mills, Deputy Chief, Snohomish County Fire District 4, retired. Deputy Chief, Seattle Fire Department, retired. Have a blessed day. Will I wait till another portion of the meeting to say that you, or to read the response?
You could do it now, or you could do it in commissioner comments.
So now's okay? Okay, because I'm not the public. It's public comment.
Yeah, but you,
Okay.
it's your meeting.
Okay. So that was Sunday, and so I wrote him back on Monday. And I said, Monday, good morning, Chief Mills. Thank you for your email. I'd like to respond to some of your concerns as an individual, and my opinions may be non-representative of the board. I moved in December 2022 to begin a series of informal planning meetings to explore consolidation options with Surfer. I stated it would take a great deal of discussion to consider exploring consolidation with any other district. Looking back, the motion could have been better worded. I could have more accurately expressed my intent by stating it would take a great deal of discussion to initiate informal planning meetings with any other district at this time. Since this motion in December, the board has explored consolidation with South County Fire, Everett, and other surrounding agencies. In keeping with our strategic plan, I believe we have approached merger opportunities objectively, but advanced one merger opportunity selectively. This selection was, like I said in my December motion, influenced by the amount of mutual aid exchanged. I've attached our fresh 2022 mutual aid numbers for reference. This is not part of my letter, but they demonstrated that mutual aid with Surfer accounted for like 94% of the mutual aid received from 2022. Back to the letter. I feel confident I could show this to any citizen in our district and make the case that Surfer is a natural partner for consolidation. However, I agree with you that there are many other considerations. Improving service levels to our community while minimizing the cost of that service continues to be the guiding principle. Snohomish County Fire District 4 is a financially healthy organization, and any potential partner for consolidation should be as well. The levy outcomes are relevant as we cautiously move forward with planning meetings with SURFR. I believe there exists with SURFR a mutual benefit for centralizing services and specialty apparatus in our city, a benefit that cannot be realized with any other potential partner. Preliminary planning suggests that a merged organization might place a ladder truck, additional personnel, MSO services, fire administration, fire marshal services, the technical rescue program, the water rescue program, and central training offices in our district, all for the shared cost of building a new fire station to accommodate it all. I have not yet seen a lower cost solution for our citizens to meet and exceed the recommendations in our Snohomish County Fire District 4 Standards of Cover report, and to bring such a disproportionate benefit to our community's level of service while benefiting the merged organization as a whole. I continue to be in conversation with commissioners from South County, SURFR, and officials from the City of Everett to ensure the information and intentions coming from those organizations is current and relevant. As we continue to move forward through preliminary planning meetings, I hope I can demonstrate that I am open-minded to the best offer of fire service consolidation for our community. We are engaged in a financial study with South County Fire to evaluate the potential savings of a fire benefits charge model could bring for our taxpayers, as well as a Snohomish County Fire District 4/SURFR consolidation study from a third-party consulting group. I look forward to their findings. Thank you again for your email. I'm available if you want to communicate in person. We can set up a time. Respectfully, Commissioner Gleason. Sorry, that was long.
Awesome. Any other open public comments? All right. We will move on to old business. Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on to, we're going to move the VFW awards in front of old business. So we'll go ahead and start, we'll do that first.
Thank you.
Chief Osborne, introduce.
Commissioners, I'd like to introduce Otis Wolf from the VFW. He's our district commander, and he's here to present awards to two very deserving firefighters. Thank you for being here, Otis.
Craig, I know a lot of faces out there because I've been around a while, but it's my honor to give the certificate of appreciation Jacob
Dion.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
For Firefighter of the Year for Post 921, Snohomish, in special recognition, the highest praise for alertness, personal courage, and ever-efficient guardianship in life and property. And witness herein have hereunto set our hand, my hand, and the official seal of Veterans Foreign Award, United States this day, Otis R. Wolf. Me. Little something behind the certificate. Take your bride. Thank you.
Thank
I'll let
you.
her know now.
Hey, Chief.
Jason's going to get photos. If you guys will look at Jason, please. With the chief.
Oh, look at Jason.
Yeah.
All right.
Congratulations.
Once again, Veterans Foreign Award of the United States. VFW Post 921 Certificate of Commendation awarded to Nathan Flatt, firefighter EMT. It sounds strange because there's a firefighter and a firefighter EMT, and 98% of you guys are firefighter EMTs, but the national doesn't break it up. But here we go. Congratulations. It's surprising if we worked together at the school district years ago. I'm looking out. Oh, you know that man.
Congratulations. Commissioner Flatt, would you be able to step up front here and get a photo, please? Thank you.
You're dead. Come Come on, Patrick.
I'm gonna take my mask off. All right.
Good.
Okay, thank you again for having me.
Absolutely.
I look forward to next year. It may not be me. There is a new post commander in town. He couldn't make it, so I filled in tonight, but I'll always be around.
Thank you for being here on this. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Otis.
You bet.
Alrighty, we'll resume with old business, levy lid.
Yeah, so I presented you with a resolution that was drafted by our attorney Brian Snurr, along with supporting documents and then the PDF of the PowerPoint. So the resolution would be $1.50 per thousand, 6-year levy lid lift 6% later, matching the last two resolutions of 2011 and 2017. So if there's any other questions, I can answer them.
I do not have any questions. Does anybody else have any questions?
Nope. I will make a motion to adopt resolution 555.
Alright, so all in favor of that motion? Aye. That motion passed. MCI, ILA.
Yeah, this is the draft that you got the last meeting. The two attorneys of Brian Smith for us and the county's attorney have finalized the language and cleaned up all the little issues, and both are in full agreement with this draft. And so we're asking you to give me direction so that I can sign it and we can start that cooperation with the MCI truck with Green Deal.
I believe last meeting, it was Commissioner Flack had some questions about that. Did you get those questions answered?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Thank you. Actually, I should thank them.
Yeah.
And all lawyers.
Well, just making sure that we got your
Yeah.
question answered. All right, so I'll make a motion to direct the chief to sign the MCI vehicle ILA with Green Field. Any discussions around that? All in favor of that motion? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Executive chief title change.
Excuse me, another old business, nothing new. So unless there's any other questions.
No, I would move we adopt resolution 556 to change the titles from deputy chief to assistant chief.
All right, any discussion around that?
That means we have to change these.
That's right.
For it.
Yeah,
Scrolling to it.
it's page 90, if that helps.
Down there.
I don't have any discussion. Do you have any discussion?
So the motion was to adopt resolution 556 as presented. Alan, discussion. All right, all in favor of that motion?
All right.
Aye.
Motion passed. Informational items, accounts payable, payroll. Any questions on those?
I was just wondering when we get to the payroll, are you gonna talk about, a little about that later, how the transition is going to go when we go over to Springbrook? Is that going to be like, part of the month coming from the county, part of the month coming from Springbrook? Or do you have any idea how that might work?
Yeah, we've got it all worked out. It'll happen at the break of the quarter, for taxes, or for payroll tax reasons. It'll happen starting April 1st. And we'll pay, regular pay in the month of April, and all of the overtime, holiday, and acting days from the month of March, where we've got it bring everybody up to.
So it won't be as late as what it usually has been in the past for some of those.
We'll be in compliance with the law.
Okay.
Any questions? We don't need a motion for accounts payable approval. On to new business, a model policy for duties.
Yeah, so this came out of the last training we did, and there was the suggestion that it would be helpful to consolidate all the various documents that we have into one place, and so this doesn't change anything or add anything or modify anything, it just basically puts all those things into one document with the reference of where they came from.
So part of this would be then that every chief that we might have, if it's somebody different than you, we would have to go through the whole thing and kind of line up whatever is in that contract, right? Is that what this is saying?
Well, most of it isn't in the contract, there's a few, but yeah, so if you change the contract language, it changes that you would, but most of it comes from the job description and policies. And so you would, if you change the job description, yeah, you would want to come into here and change whatever
And we
the
generally
time
don't
is.
change it, and we don't change the language on the contract.
Okay.
So it probably would line up with that policy. If we have it.
And then the parent, if something was to happen and a parent document that's called that got changed, the parent document would overrule this because it references it, right? You go to this policy, it would say something that would reference the parent document, you go to that parent document and it wouldn't exist anymore, it'd be changed. The parent document would always, overrule this.
All right, you have a motion?
I'll move that we adopt policy 121.
All right. We already had discussion on that, so all in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Motion passed. City property ILA.
So first, does anybody want Brian Stern on the phone for this discussion? No.
I think it was Richard, did you have that request?
Well, I had some of his legal terms we put in there. But
You have some
I
things.
think I got those taken care of now. But
We're good. I just gotta let him know, so we're good to tell him he's okay?
yeah, I think you can tell.
Okay. Give me just a second, let me let him know that we won't need him,
Awesome.
and then I'll update you.
Yeah. He's just waiting, he's sitting by his phone.
Right, that's right.
Off the-
Okay. So you have two aisles before you. We've been working on this for, well, obviously, like I said in the brief, we've been working, this issue has been around for 40 years. The district's been working on it pretty heavily for 5 years, and this version of the ILA I've been working on pretty long, for just over 2 years. And so this will be the ILA that resolves the property ownership issue, the fact that us and the city own half of the property on here, one of the buildings on the property, and half of the building and the property of Station 41. So it resolves those. That's kind of the main driving issue, but at the same time, we used a lot of, there was a lot of confusion of who should provide services and who should do the services, who owns the services legally through the RCWs, and so a lot of that is cleared up, and so the fire district would take over the fire marshal services from the city that they legally have for the RCW because we felt it was a better fit and provide the public a better service. We have some ability there's a lot of things that affect our ISO or WSRB rating that the city controls, but it goes into our rating, like hydrant inspections and things like that, and life safety inspections, and so this addresses that, allows us to have a better say in that since it affects our WSRB rating. So overall, I think this is a really good ILA. There's the trade is in-kind stuff instead of the last version was cash was changing hands between the two agencies, and there's always a worry about is that fair to citizens when they're double paying or moving money around for things that were designed for that. And so we kind of got rid of all that, and we really worked towards how do we build something that's mutually beneficial to the community, and we really think with these two ILAs, it does that. Now these two ILAs are the frameworks to get the giant boulders lifted. we'll have to be signing little ILAs that go into detail into these specific issues as we resolve them and work through them. So we'll have more coming to you on these to get the details of some of these things. But this gets us the framework and kind of gets all the big skeletons in the closet out of the way, so we can have a good, fresh relationship and move forward together for the community.
Awesome.
So, when you sign it, you pass this, and then the city council signs it and they pass it, when does it take effect? I mean, I don't recall seeing it.
It takes effect as soon as both parties sign it. So if we sign it first tonight and the city signs it, whenever they sign it, then as soon as they sign it, it takes effect. Like I said, a lot of things though have more, so just because the wording takes effect, really what that means is now we start working on how to implement those wordings or sign a new ILA to get the details. And so it's not like we're gonna magically, in one of the ILAs, this property gets divided in half. Well, that's probably gonna take us a year or two to do, right? We're gonna have to do surveys, we're gonna have to do lot line adjustment, to application to the city, to the county, quit claim deeds, so that's probably at least a year, maybe longer process once we start. And so a lot of these things, it just says, hey, we're in agreement to do all these things. Now we gotta start the work of actually doing them. Some will consist of more ILAs, some will consist of the application for the lot line adjustments. So there's a lot of things that will be going on after we sign it.
Any questions? All right. Do you have a motion?
I move to direct the chief to sign both ILAs with the city of Snohomish.
All right. All in favor of that motion? Aye. Motion passed.
And quick comment, I just want to recognize your excellent work and your perseverance in getting these ILAs developed.
Thank you.
It's an excellent job.
It was a big team effort. And I would also like to commend the city. The city staff has been excellent to work with and to work through this very long and complicated issue. And I learned more about the history of our department working through this than just about any other thing I've done. So thank you.
Budget transfer from Academy.
So we had budgeted for 2021 or 2022 bill coming in, and it was a lot less after our adjustments for everything. And we also budgeted to send more people to the county this year. That's not our plan right now. So we'd like to move that money, but keep it in training. So we want to keep enough money to send 2 to the county this fall in case something happens. We're pretty thin on part-time, and you never know when 1, 2, all of them get job offers, and so we gotta be ready for that. But we would like to move the rest of the money over to pay for the ropes class, the equipment for the ropes class, and some upgrades at the RLB, the training center. And that really kind of makes sense because that credit that we got for the 2022 bill was because of the use of the RLB. So putting some of that money back in to kind of recoup some of the wear and tear that's going on down there also makes sense. And so I've given you a letter from Chief Hodgkinson that explains it, and then the budget worksheets of how they'll be changed within our budget. So we're going to keep those. We have a budget book that sits on the front office, and we'll put these pages in as new ones so we can clearly track through the year. Everybody knows what their line items are and where the money came from.
Thank you. All right, I'll make a motion.
No, go ahead.
Go.
I'll say after you.
All right. Motion to move funds into line items as presented. Any more comments on that motion?
Yeah, something just occurred to me that you were saying there's some sort of wear and tear down at the training center, and I don't remember how you quite put it together with this, but will that help to alleviate some of that wear and tear
Yeah.
that we're doing?
Yeah, so
Okay.
the lights have been kind of broken, which is normal with hose use and other
Right.
things in there, and then we went to, the center's getting a lot more use the last couple of years. We've really increased the use, and so what we want to do is kind of gravel some of that grass area so that we can use it for parking and get more use of the pavement when we have people down.
Okay, so that would be part of this
Yep.
switching of the money over and so forth. That makes good
I have
sense.
another comment, just on the same topic of the wear and tear on the training facility. I think there was at some point some effort to develop an ILA with Surfer and maybe share some ongoing maintenance costs. And I think just now that we're realizing them, it might be good to revisit that potential ILA with Surfer to see if we can recover some ongoing maintenance costs and future improvement costs from them as well. So.
Totally agree.
I thought we sort of had some rental coming in from some of those things.
We do.
But not much from it.
Yeah, it's not quite set up for how it's current. The rental program wasn't set up for how it's being used now. So what Commissioner Gleason is, we kind of for the last couple of years have been working at kind of going a little different route because it's used a little bit differently with Surfer as their kind of primary training, I guess, versus just the rental program is kind of set up for, Granite Calls would come down here for a couple weeks a year, and every community would use it for a weekend a year. So
What about the academy?
We are getting that. That's that credit from that 60,000. So the 60,000 was less than we would have normally been charged, but the credit was even bigger than we thought. So yeah, the academy, basically what they do is they take how much we owe for all our students, and then the rental fees for the academy, and they subtract them out, and then we just so we don't have to move money twice. We just pay them the balance. And so we estimated it to be about 60, and it's 36, 37. Yeah. After all the fees, all of our rental fees come off.
We got credit for CO and some other stuff, so came in less than what we thought.
All right, so all in favor of my motion?
All right.
Aye.
Motion passed. Comment cards 2022 recap.
Yeah, sorry we got out a little late. We've been had a pretty busy week in the office, but we sent you the recap. So if you do have any questions, let us know. We changed systems so that it appears like we're getting a smaller response, but in the past we were handpicking who we sent it to so that we would get good responses. Now we're sending it to everybody. And we're sending it to more than just, in the past it was just handpicking EMS calls. Now we're sending not just emergency calls, but even other things that we do. And so it appears like our comments are less, but we think we're getting a much broader feedback, and then we're actually getting feedback that we can put numbers to, data to, so we can see if we're changing over time, which that's kind of, for me, the most important, is are we getting better or worse in certain categories over time, and how do we affect that? So if you have any comments, you can try to ask me, but the best would be to come in and talk to Christine, because she actually does all of this.
All right. Moving on to comments, district staff comments.
Anybody? Nope. I do not have any more comments besides.
Oh, were they going to talk or something?
I was going to let them know.
I was going to say that.
I was just gonna say, the only added addition is we got notified that the chassis we ordered has moved to the next process in the building, which probably means we're still 15 months out instead of 16 months out. But
So a little bit ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
And that's for the engine?
no, that one's for the brush rig.
Oh, the brush rig.
Yeah, the engine's still pretty much on schedule. Yeah. Jason?
Yeah, for the ops report, just the update for equipment. It was budgeted this year for 2 inflatable kayaks to be added for capabilities to the rescue swimmers. We ended up getting 1. The kayaks were, due to supply chain issues, we'll call it, were a little bit more expensive. We do have 1 on order, so as soon as we get that in, we've already came up with a plan for deploying that. We also ordered some rescue equipment to support the rope rescue class that we're hosting in May. So we're gonna get some harnesses, some helmets, some additional equipment to outfit that. I'd like to congratulate Rachel and Chelsea, both recently passed their Snohomish County ALS protocol test. Yes. All goes well, next Thursday, they'll be able to practice ACLS skills in the field as soon as they get their final sign-off next Thursday. I'd like to thank Captain Heike, Captain Hammer, Mrs. Heike, and DC Osborne for bringing Chief Lasky to town. We had Chief Lasky come Friday and Saturday last week to do private ownership, one day just primarily with our department. Saturday was open enrollment. That's 2 days of great training, so thanks to training division, Osborne and Miss Heike for putting that together. And then lastly I have is we had 2 of our BCs have participated so far in the county BC ride-along process. Battalion Chief Mansfield rode along with Battalion 31 this month, and so did Battalion Chief Sean Witherell as well. And we have, I believe, a surfer battalion coming tomorrow to do a ride-along with Bill. This was a countywide BC program, regional BC effort to do ride-alongs that was started, I believe, in 2021. So it's open to do ride-alongs with Everett, Marysville, Mukilteo, nearly every agency in the county is involved. So we may have our BCs do ride-alongs another time on a day shift for Everett, South County, Marysville, and really it's an effort to get our BCs in the county to know each other and figure out some operational, how similar we are, and just get out in the world and do kind of an exchange system to see how people problem solve the same issues. So we just started participating coming out of COVID, but the program has been around for about 1.5 years. That's all I got, unless you guys have questions.
I too want to thank Captain Hammer, Captain Heike, Christine Heike for 2 excellent days of training with Chief Lasky. Jason, as usual, stole all my stuff. But in all seriousness, great training. We had people from all over, from the Canadian border all the way to the peninsula, Tacoma Fire, and all walks of the fire service, from brand new recruits from Arlo Recruit Academy to a 52-year veteran fire commissioner, and then everybody in between. So that was excellent. A couple of things that I put in here that were in my written report that I just want to touch base on real quick is our first safety improvement plan for the occupational cancer. That's at the forefront of our occupation, our job as firefighters right now. Our safety improvement plan was completed and submitted through Lieutenant Cole, myself, and our safety committee after training, and that was approved. Our next mandatory training in the fire program is going to be our musculoskeletal injury reduction, and we've been lucky as a fire agency, we've stayed that way. But safety improvement plans for that as well, that's forthcoming. And the last thing that's not in here, I just found out today, one of our support officers / chaplains, Margie Jacobson, has been selected to speak at a large county-wide event that's coming up before the next meeting, so hopefully I'll be able to report on that as well. And that'll happen on April 7th. That's all I have. Any questions?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Yes,
I have one.
yes, you have a question.
Okay, you're still working on a fuel pump out there, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we're still missing parts.
Not anymore.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So the parts came in. Matter of fact, the crew came today.
Oh,
And I don't know if anybody saw it when we pulled in, but the 2 pumps are on and 2 pedestals are in place. We'll have electrical work happening for the next 2 days. And then the build crew is going to continue on and finish that. My fingers are crossed. By Friday, Chief Waller will be the first one to pump fuel out of that. We're going to find out. But yeah.
Into his rig.
Into his rig.
I'm not gonna guarantee that.
Yeah, into his rig. So, yeah, so that started this morning. Very excited about that. Thanks for bringing that up. Yes.
I have a comment.
Yes.
I just want to add that since my Tacoma Fire family laid our brother to rest this last weekend from job-acquired cancer, just how important that is that you're doing this for your department, for the cancer reduction, especially trying to get those practices in to where people can continue to go home to retirement and on past it. It's really real.
Absolutely.
I mean, I glazed over safety, the whole safety stuff for a long time. but it's very important, thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. We have an excellent safety committee that really takes it seriously.
Yeah.
We've got you as our board that have direct knowledge of this. We've got a fire chief and an executive staff that believes in it. So thank you.
Thank you.
And along with our outstanding chaplain support officer group that's right in there with us talking about this stuff. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Quick wrap up for me, it's gonna sound a lot like last month, Springbrook, working to integrate, as Commissioner Flatt brought up. We'll transition beginning the beginning of quarter two. We're working with county on that transition, working to finalize our commercial banking accounts, which we'll use to pay those things. And the audit, it looks like they're gonna want to schedule for the 22nd, although we haven't actually heard yet. So stay tuned for that, and Commissioner Flatt, they will be contacting you for that. Any questions for me?
Oh, I guess I do want to add one thing, because it's in the report, but the SAFER grant was submitted yesterday, so big thing off the plate, so big thanks again to Christine, very helpful. Bring across the fingers, please.
All right, commissioner comments.
Yeah, I have one, this one. Anyway, I received along with you as the chairman, a letter from the South County Fire folks.
Yep.
And so I looked at their meeting on February 14th, and you have to go into it about an hour and 50 minutes before you finally get to where they're talking about us, you know. And they had a rather lengthy discussion about how to send a vote, or, you know, would they send a vote to send this letter anyway. And I thought it was kind of interesting that who they sent it all to. You know, it wasn't just to
Yeah.
two copies here, but
I think that the reason that is because they're so entangled with other governments. You know,
Right,
city
yeah.
councils, so I think that might have been an assumption on their part. But
right. Well, it wasn't a unanimous vote to send it.
it was not, yeah.
But I think it would be our due diligence for us to at least respond to it. To say we have received it,
Yeah.
and we'll take it under advisement
We
or
did.
something like that. Oh, you already did? Oh, well, here was my thought on that we would send that to everybody who got a CC,
Okay.
okay?
So
Yeah, and that includes,
Absolutely.
you know, the chiefs and the mayor. The mayor
It's
got
the
one too.
it's the recent.
I believe my response was only to whoever, I don't know if I did everybody, so I can check.
We revisit that.
Okay,
We'll revisit that.
and say,
Okay.
do you want it,
I'll see that meeting on.
do you want it as an email or like a formal letter on letterhead?
Well, they did it on a letterhead, and maybe we should do it too,
Yeah.
to show them we have letterhead station,
Oh,
or
yeah.
something like that, you know? I mean, we don't have to go into all that kind of detail, but, you know,
Yes.
just thank them for,
Yeah, we can do that.
yeah.
Would you like me to draft something for your consideration?
Yes, please.
I think if anyone is interested in how the discussion surrounding that letter, that it's available on their video commissioner meeting, regular commissioner meeting. It's at hour 1 hour 50 minutes.
55 minutes.
1 hour 55 minutes, and the discussion lasts for 10 minutes.
It's been a while.
And it's informative.
Very informative. All right, any other commissioner comments? I don't have any comments, so we will adjourn the meeting.
Well, I have one
Oh,
more.
right, yeah.
I think in the future, if we have something like awards or promotions, Those kind of things, we ought to have them at the beginning of the agenda.
That, you might as well open it up and then.
Yeah, well,
About
not
the
maybe,
agenda.
well, like tonight we did it after the public comment, so maybe that would be a good place
Can
to have them just always put it in there if there's something like that.
all right, I'll make a note of
Does
that.
that sound okay?
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, that sounds
That's good. I'll make sure that.
Not just with the
We'll
little
all
ones,
that, yeah.
little scratches here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty, I'll get back to adjourning this meeting. Any other comments? Alright, we'll adjourn the meeting at 19:43.
Thank you.
Did you guys get at least something?
Yes, I did.
Okay.